Up until this point, I thought that Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was the best Spider-Man movie of all time. Live action, animated, whatever you want to give me, I thought it was the best because it encapsulated everything I like about the wall crawler while giving us revolutionary animation. But could these creators do it again? Make another amazing, spectacular, superior Spider-Man film. I thought they couldn't do it, but I was so wrong. Let's start with the premise and the good. After reuniting with Gwen Stacy, Brooklyn's full-time friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is catapulted across the multiverse, where he encounters a team of spider people charged with protecting its very existence. However, when the heroes clash on handling a new threat, Miles finds himself pitted against the other spiders. He must soon redefine what it is to be a hero so he can save the people he most loves. The reason why Across the Spider-Verse is amazing is because it manages to not only open up the story, make it wider, make it larger, and bring the scope and the stakes a lot higher than the first film, but it also still manages to balance it with a very personal story connected to Miles and Gwen because she's more of a central character here than she was in the first movie. This is almost like her movie as well, but Miles is still obviously the central character because that's our boy. We visit fun new places, see many different kinds of characters from the comics, animated video games, and all the animation style clash together really well. Everything opens up and we see different worlds that we've never seen before, and it works so well. And the movie gets zany. We see spider cats, we see spider dinosaurs, we see so many different kind of spider, different people from different cultures and backgrounds that were really cool. But like I said before, they central it down into a very personal story between the two main leads, while also creating this ideological dispute between all the spider people, which I thought was really brilliant. The story is a lot deeper, way more layered than the first film is, and this movie is written by the guy who did Pixar's Soul, and I'm like, duh, that makes so much sense because of the story in that film. You can feel a lot of the elements of that in this film as well. And I think that they did a great job of bringing him in to write the story here because he did a really good job of not only giving each character different layers, but the story hit on multiple levels. If you're just a fan of Spider-Man casually, you will love this. If you're a super fan and love the animated stuff and play the video games, you will love this. But if you're a fan of the comics and everything, you'll get so much out of this. It's just a great movie with all the Easter eggs and the craziness that goes on in the background. Just the film itself has a great story. And let's talk about the spider people. Yes, this movie makes them rival the live action performances. They're written with so much depth and life that I feel like they sometimes look better than the real life actors. Miles Morales, the central character, continues to be a breath of fresh air and a great character years past since the last movie within the film. And he's grown just a bit, looking a little cooler, getting more handle of his powers. And he's just a great character. He's easy to root behind. Gwen, who's basically his 1B and kind of the central character of this film, is a lot more complicated. She's not too sure who she is and what she wants to do and how she's going to figure out her life. And we get a plethora of new characters, but the standouts here are Miguel O'Hara, played by Oscar Isaac, fan favorite Spider-Man 2099, the only Spider-Man that doesn't laugh, joke, or smile. He's super serious, and even though he's kind of an antagonist a little bit in this film for Miles, you understand his motives and why he's doing what he's doing, even if you don't agree. And Oscar Isaac did a fantastic job voicing him and making him feel very different from everyone else. Jessica Drew is played by Issa Rae, and she does a great job of making the character really relatable and fun and funny, but also very serious. She has a very mommy tone because this is the version of Jessica Drew that's pregnant. So this is a Spider-Woman from a different multiverse that has a baby, but still in the action. And Spider-Punk, one character that I was really excited to see how they pull off, played by Daniel Kaluuya, the guy from Get Out. He was in Black Panther, Judas and the Black Messiah. Fantastic actor. He does a great job adding so much spice and flavor to Spider-Punk. He's an anarchist. He's against the man. He's against being controlled. He doesn't like destiny. He's just a fun character, and you think that they're going to just use him as a joke, but he's actually essential to the plot in a very minor way, but a very important way, and I think he's going to be a fan favorite coming out of this film. And surprisingly, the villain, the Spot, he's more than like a villain of the week joke type character. When I saw him in the trailer, I thought he was just going to be there for Miles to beat up in the beginning, but he's actually throughout the movie, and he starts out really funny, used for like physical slapstick comedy, but he grows and grows and grows into a more terrifying villain. I'm really excited to see what they do with this character. He ties into the first movie in a very, very clever way, and Jason Schwartzman did a great job of voicing the character because he brought a everyday man feel to him, just kind of like the Peter Parker was in the first film. Now, is this movie superior to No Way Home, Into the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man 2? Yes, I believe in every single way this movie not only is superior to those live action films, but superior to the first film because it has a more complicated, darker, more personal story with bigger stakes that is not convoluted. This could have been easily convoluted if it was not written as well, but it's very easy to follow while still having multiple layers, and you catch what you catch. And I think they did a really great job of making something that can rival something like The Dark Knight or just think of the best written comic book films and just the best written sequels. This is one of the better sequels I've ever seen. And because they take so many things from the first film that we love, triple down on them while introducing new elements that are great. And ideological differences that these characters have to go through is kind of akin to what the Avengers had to go through with Civil War, but just written in a more clever and fun way. This is the first movie in a long time that I watched where I didn't know what was going to happen. I was along for the ride. I thought I was guessing what was going on, and it kept on throwing me a curveball after curveball, but it was curveballs that made sense. It didn't feel like they just pulled it out of some spot in the multiverse. They actually planted the seeds in the first film, and they just really laid it out really well, and I was just in awe. And this might be the best looking animated film of all time. I couldn't believe how they just topped the animation that they did before. Obviously, like I said, Into the Spider-Verse was revolutionary at the time. We've seen shows like Arcane, we've seen movies like Puss in Boots: Last Wish take that animation and run with it, but now they've come back and said, hey, we're the masters of this. This is artwork. You could take a screenshot of any moment in this film and blow it up and put it in a frame, and it would look like a piece of art. And they reference artists throughout the movie as well in very intelligent and nice ways to give shout out to people who love street art and just art in general. And I think that they did a great job of animating each person's world, especially Gwen Stacy's world, where it's like this watercolor that changes depending on the emotion and the feelings of the characters going through. It was all beautiful. And the action, way more intense than the last one, a lot more fun because the animation is so much better. A lot of slapstick comedy put into there, but also very intense because of the thrilling ways it was put together and tied into the story and the stakes. And the first action set piece that they had was so good that my theater clapped. That it was done because it was so good. And going into it, like especially if you just watched Into Spider-Verse recently, the action in there is good, but it's just like, whoa, this is what we're setting out. This is the first 40 minutes of the film. This is how we're doing this. Okay. And speaking of the length, the movie is 2 hours and 20 minutes. And for me, I thought that it was a great length for all the story that we got and all the great things they were doing with the animation. And I actually felt like a positive was I felt the time in this film. I was like, wow, we're actually getting a lot. And I'm so, so happy. It wasn't a thing of like, oh, this is too long. I thought I just didn't want this to end. I wanted to keep going and going and going. I would have sat there for 4 hours because I did not want to leave this world. I was just so sucked up by everything that was going on, and I absolutely loved it. Now let's get into the bad. So for me personally, I don't have anything bad to say about this film. I think it's perfect or damn near perfect masterpiece that these people put together. Hard to speak because of how good it is. But these are some things that I've seen some people say they don't like or had a problem with. So I'm going to put it there. So in case you're watching my review, before you see the film, these are things that you may not like. The glitchy and overstimulating animations. Some people had a problem with it in the first Into the Spider-Verse, said it was hard to keep track of the things that were going on the screen or really understand what was going on. They triple down on it here and do so many crazy different things with the animation. So that may bother you if you don't like being sensory overloaded. And if you are someone that can't see flashing lights or strobe lights, do not go see this movie or like you're receptive to like getting seizures. Don't go see this movie because it's a lot going on. It's very loud and very bright. I see some people have an issue with the pacing of the film, seeing it moves really, really fast for most of the film and then kind of slows down. I think that it might be an issue for some people if you need your handheld watching the movie sometimes, if you maybe don't really have an understanding how comic books movie works, that's not like overly explaining the things that are happening on, and if you're not super familiar with some of the lingo. But It really moves really, really fast. The 2 hours and 20 minutes doesn't feel like 2 hours and 20 minutes to me personally. And I think that some people may have problem with the pacing. And I've seen some people have issue with the cliffhanger ending, which I kind of understand. If you didn't know going in and this was going to be a part one, and you thought this was going to be the finishing of the story, that I could see you have an issue. Personally, I felt like they found a way to tell a complete story while also leaving things open enough for a third movie, a third final movie. But I think they did a good job doing that. But a lot of people were upset when the movie ended because they needed more and wanted to end. And I think that was just more of the movie doing a good job of you wanting more. But I could see some people being left feeling empty after that. Let's get into my verdict. So yes, this movie is spectacular, sensational, amazing, superior, whatever comic book Spider-Man titles that they have, you can apply all to this movie. It's vastly superior to any Spider-Man movie or even maybe show that has been out so far. Is it the best Spider-Man movie? Again, yes. Is it the best animated movie ever? Visually, probably. I don't know about everything else, but visually, yes. Is it one of the best comic book movies ever? I think so. I think it might be the best. That's how I'm feeling about it right now. It might be recency bias. Maybe on a rewatch, when I get to rewatch it again, I might not think so. But right now, that's how I feel. I think this is damn near perfect. I loved everything about it, and I can't wait to watch it again. So with that said, I'm going to give Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse an A. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What would you rate personally Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse? And if you have not seen the film yet, how hype are you based on my review? How you feel going into the film? Let me know in those comments down below. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can notify my reviews, reaction, live discussions, and much, much more. You can catch more of my content right now.